Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Quick information, please, before I proceed further. Confirm, can people hear the voice? Okay. Can everybody hear my voice? Voice is not clear. Okay. Not hear my voice clearly. Okay. Okay. Okay, now please confirm, is the voice clear now? Is the voice clear now? Okay, is it better? That's nice. Much better. Okay. Another confirmation, can you people see the screen? The screen is visible to all of you? Okay. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. So you can hear this, the voice, you can see the screen, but not my video, right? Okay. So we all can hear the voice now. You can hear the voice. Okay, is it clear? Is it better now? Is it better? Yeah, it's better. Great, great. That's better. So happy, right? Okay. So okay, so I think now it's better, right? Okay, thank you very much for your confirmation. Now, okay, so can you see me here? Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Okay, you can see me as well. Perfect. So you are confirming three things now, okay? First, you are confirming that you can see me. Second, you are confirming that the voice is clear. And third, you can see my screen as well, right? Okay, thank you. Now, before I proceed, just 1 minute more I need to take so that those who are still joining the session, let them join so that everybody will be on board before I proceed. So right now, it's almost 9:04. Let's wait for a minute or so that everybody joins, okay? Let's wait for a minute or so that more people who might be joining will join as well. Comments on Hmm, no space. Okay, friends, now let's begin with this important webinar for March 21. Are you all excited? First of all, say yes or no. Are you all excited? Yeah, that's nice. Okay, right. So, guys, welcome to P2P March 21 webinar, and I am your instructor, Rizwan Mania. Let's begin our session very quickly. First of all, obviously, you need to know about the tutor, about me. I'm teaching ACCA since last 13 years, and I specialize in papers of financial management, performance management, and advanced performance management. I've taught more than 6,000 students in these 13 years. Currently, I'm teaching both physically and online to international students. And previously, I've conducted 5 ACCA performance management webinars and 6 ACCA advanced performance management webinars. So, a good amount of experience now I have when it comes to international students. Okay. Now, how to remain connected after the webinar and what to do during the webinar. So, after the webinar, this is my WhatsApp number. You can just note it down quickly and you can become part of my WhatsApp groups for all the support you need for this paper. So just note down the numbers. If you are already part of my previous PM Rizwan Mania groups, so then there is no need to send the message again, because if that means you're already part of PM Rizwan Mania groups. But if you are not, so just quickly send me WhatsApp and I will add you in the group after the webinar. Secondly, how to remain connected during the webinar. So there is a chat box given. You can see the chat box. Just look at your application of GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, and there is a chat box where you can write your comments. I can see a lot of students' comments coming here. But a quick rule I need to tell you here, and the rule is that you can ask questions. We'll have more and more interactive session, okay? But let me tell you very straightforward that when I'm teaching a topic, so during that topic, you can only ask questions relating to that topic only, okay? Don't ask general questions at that particular time when I'm teaching that particular topic, okay? But after the webinar, in fact, today, last 10 minutes or so, I'll take up your questions that are general questions as well. So just hold down your general questions because once we are doing a topic, I would prefer that you ask only those related to that topic, okay? Secondly, once I'll teach something, I'll come back to the chat box. Chat box is in front of my eyes. I can see it very clearly. So I'll ask you questions then and there. But before I have not asked for the questions, I don't want you to waste your questions. So just hold it on. And once I give you the opportunity, then you can ask questions. Okay. Okay. So we are done with this as well. A quick idea I've given you. Now let's move on further. Okay. So agenda for the first day. First of all, we'll give you a very good introduction about this paper. Introduction doesn't mean that I'll go into the basic details, rather than I will touch the complexities, the problems of the paper. Then after that, we will be a very important 2 weeks plan I will be sharing with you people. And this 2 weeks plan will be a one that will definitely help you to pass the paper. This 2 week plan will be shared with you people, and that will give you a really good chance to pass your exams. Okay. After that, we will discuss the scope of the webinar. So, scope of the webinar, what I'll be covering in this entire 5 days of webinar, I'll discuss that as well. And then we'll move towards the today's study plan that I need to cover up today. And the big thing will be the $1,000,000 plan that I'll need to share with you people. This $1,000,000 plan will be a really success factor for you. You have to follow this plan every day of your webinar. I will share this $1,000,000 plan, and this will be just to make sure that you people covered the things after the webinar. This means you need to know what you need to do after the 3 hours that you take here, right? So I'll guide you. Whatever I'm telling you, you have to follow only those things. Okay. Now just forget about all the previous things in your mind. It's a fresh start. Just follow these 5 days on a regular basis. You should be part of all the 5 days, and whatever plans I'll give you on a daily basis, just follow that plan every day. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Then we'll have a question and answer session, last 10 minutes or so, and that question and answer session will definitely tell you what exactly you need to do when it comes to answering the questions, and you can ask questions. Okay. So done with the agenda. Now there are two types of students who are appearing in March 21. Just give me a second here, please. Just a second. Okay. So types of students who are appearing in March 21. Now I exactly know the number of students who are appearing in March 21. There are two groups I'm dividing the students into. Okay. First will be a one, those are attempting for the first time. Okay. And those who are giving a reattempt. Now everyone who is going for the first time, obviously performance management is a paper normally students are appearing for the first time because they've completed their F1s, 2s and 3s, and now they are appearing for this PM exam for the first time. So they have already heard about the paper, the kind of experiences people have shared with you, especially those who are giving reattempts definitely tell you really scary things about the paper, right? So I want both the groups, I want both the audience to remain attentive. Whatever suggestions I'll tell you, whatever feedback I will give you, whatever thing I'll explain you will be relevant for both. Okay. So those who are giving this for the first time, they have a really good opportunity. They need to focus on what all I'm telling, and let's not experience failure. Okay. And those unfortunately could not pass in this paper. So please learn from the mistakes that you have done, and whatever guidance I'm giving you people today, just follow all that guidance. Okay. So I know there are two types of students who are giving the paper, and I will ensure that I'm covering all the aspects for both. Now, major difference between MA and performance management. It's a very important thing to keep in your mind. You need to make sure that you need to step up. Yes, it's a step up. Until and unless you don't step up, you are not in a good position. So my friends, keep this in your mind that you need to ensure a step up from MA. It's not it's not a management accounting paper. I do agree the bases are coming from management accounting paper, but this is not MA. My friends, those who are appearing for the first time or those who have already given this before and could not pass, you need to realize the fact that you are not at MA level. So there is a big step up that is required. There is a gap to be filled, and this gap is something that you need to understand first. So this webinar, 5 days, will exactly focus on that gap, will ensure that from here you reach here. So I'll ensure that there is a proper step up. Okay, for that, first of all, what I want you to accept the fact, and the fact is you are not a kid anymore. Okay, you are no more a kid, right? Remember, you are no more a kid, so you are not at the MA level. You need to lift yourself. Okay, and that is you need to keep this in your mind that your level is now a bit more, in fact much more, that is performance management level. Okay, now, here I need to highlight the two very important differences between these two papers, and the step up that I want you people to actually focus on is something that you need to keep in your mind. So, what exactly are you required to keep in your mind when it comes to this paper? The first thing here is, okay, the first thing to keep in your mind is the expectation. Now, you need to understand the fact that the expectation of the examiner is totally different in this paper compared to what was in management accounting. Okay, and why I am saying this, try to understand why I'm saying this. The reason for that is, uh, here in this paper you are not just required to do calculations. A quick example I need to share with you people in this regard. Okay, the example is, for example, you have done a calculation of variances, and you all know how do you work out variances. Okay, so you have done the calculation of variances in management accounting paper. Let's suppose you worked out material price variance. Okay, and that comes out to be adverse. So the material price variance is adverse, and you know the formula, you know the method, and in F2 or management accounting, you were actually required to understand how you need to work out this. But here, when it comes to PM level, you have to keep in your mind very important thing. Okay, you have to keep you have to keep in your mind very important thing, and that is what you know, that what the number means. Remember what I'm saying, what the number means. You should know what the number means. Okay, so it's basically the meaning of this you should know. You should know why are you calculating this. The word why is very important for this paper. So the word why has a very important importance in this performance management exam. Okay, so it's not just about number calculations. It's not just about number calculations. It is not just about that you know how to work out variances, you know how to separate the variable and the fixed cost. Here at this PM level, the focus should be what the numbers mean. Why have you done the calculation? Yes, I'm talking about the interpretation. If you haven't heard this word before, so just keep this word in your mind. It's interpretation that you should know. You should know what variance means. Okay, so this is a big step up in performance management. It's not about calculations only, but it is about what the calculation means, right? And I'll prove you why this is important, that what calculation means. Secondly, it's the paper pattern difference. Okay, and obviously it's not the same paper pattern that you have seen in F2 level. It's a different paper pattern. So now
Having said that, the key thing to keep in your mind is expectation is totally different. You have to step up. You should know what the numbers mean. And now let's come towards the paper pattern to give you the idea what paper pattern is. So yeah, it's a 3-hour paper. You will be given 10 minutes before these 3 hours to read the requirements of the paper, to read the main conditions of the paper. But it's a 3-hour paper, and the marking has been given here, that is 1.8 minutes per mark. Okay, just keep this in your mind from today. If you don't know before, it's 1.8 minutes per mark, which means that you are given, or you have been allotted with 1.8 minutes for 1 mark. Okay, and this will play a really important role in these 5 days of webinar. I will surely use this 1.8 minutes per mark as a tool to give you the idea that how are we supposed to handle this. Okay, so just remember, it's 1.8 minute per mark. Now, the syllabus is divided into 5 areas, with number 1 is information technology and system. This is becoming important these days because of the advancement you have seen in the technology, because of new IT related aspects that have entered into the business world. So we should know about these, and these are tested in your paper. Then advanced costing technique is the second section. So decision making is fourth, budgeting and control is fifth, and last is performance measurement. Now, these are 5 sections of your exam, of your syllabus, I would say, and your exam is basically divided into 3 sections. Okay, so this is basically your paper, 3 sections. A quick idea, if someone is new here, Section A of your paper will include 15 objective test questions. These are known as objective test questions. The weightage of each will be of 2 marks, and 15 into 2 makes 30 marks of your paper will be Section A short OT questions. Okay. Then you have section B. This is basically 3 case study style questions. So we can call this as OT case as well. 3 OT case style questions will be tested. Each will have a weightage of 10 marks, and this makes 30 marks from section B. Okay. One thing I need to tell here is that each section B will include 5 OTs. Each section B will include 5 OTs, and if you multiply 5 with 2, so you get 10 marks, and this is the 10 marks breakup actually. So in each OT case study, there will be 5 OTs. Okay, so there will be a scenario followed by 5 OTs. Then you have section C, a king. 2 constructive response questions will be in this section C, and the weightage of each will be of 20 marks. Okay, so 2 into 20 makes 40 marks will come from section C, and this section C is basically CRQ of your paper. This includes spreadsheet skills and word processing sheet. Let me tell you, the webinar that I've planned for you this time is a really game changer. It will change your mindset. It will change the fear of PM from your hearts. It will make your heart more softer for this paper, and you will start loving the paper. Okay, so but you have to attend all the 5 days. That is a small condition, and if you do that, so many techniques I'll tell you to overcome the fear of this paper. Now let's move on. A quick idea. You can see the syllabus, how it will be tested in your paper. There is one only big exception, and that you can see a no, which means advanced costing technique section is a one that will not be tested for section C. This topic actually includes ABC, target costing, life cycle costing, throughput accounting, and environmental management accounting. So this section, this syllabus area will not be tested for section 3. The rest is something that can be tested in section A, B, and C. One more thing I need to tell here, mainly this will be tested again in section A. a small portion could come in section C for this area. This is completely theory based. Yeah, obviously, performance measurement remains a high chance always in section C. You will every time see a question coming from performance measurement. So I will definitely be focusing a lot this time on this area and very differently this time. Okay. Then budgeting control and decision making all are very much hot topics for section C as well. So I hope you have understood the paper structure. It's basically divided into three sections. Section A is OTs of 30 marks. Section B is OT case study, where the scenario you have OTs, and that also is of 30 marks. And 40 marks will be CRQ, which will be based on spreadsheet and word processing sheet skills. So having said that, what the paper structure is, it's now time to move towards the next slide, and just to give you idea how many types of OTs will come in your paper. So I'm sure you know the names. If you're not clear about it, a quick idea I'll give in few seconds. MCQ, you need to select one out of the four options. There are distractors in MCQ, so try to figure out the distractors. Okay. Multiple response is a bit tricky question, I would say. Reason is that there could be more than one answers. Okay, there could be more than one answers. Here I mean to say that two statements may be correct, three statements may be correct, or four statements may be correct. So this is a tricky area because it's not that one answer that you need to select, it's more than one answers. Okay. Fill in the blank remains a very hot question for numerical ones, where you need to focus on numbers, you need to work out the numbers, and this also remains a hot choice for your examiner. Here students do struggle because question like these requires a lot of accuracy. Your answer should be dead right. Okay. Drag and drop is another type of a question where you have to drag one box and you have to drop at the respective area. So it's kind of a match the following thing we used to do earlier in our school days, if you remember. Drop down, a sister of an MCQ, I would say, sister of an MCQ. Hotspot, basically a graph based kind of a question. There is a graph given in the paper, and you need to identify the right area. Okay. Hot area is true and false. True or false statements will be given to you. So these are the OTs that will be tested either in section A or section B. Now, let's look at the original CBE paper. As you people might not have seen yet, I'll just spend 2 to 3 minutes on that, not more than that, just to give you a quick idea about the paper. So I think let's move on towards that. Okay. So yeah, here we are at the original exam paper. Just to give you the idea, the instructions are here. So once you go to the paper, these are the instructions, and for these you will be given 10 minutes to read. So this is your original exam instructions, and once you are done with this, then you move on. So it says you have section A, B, and C, the things that I just told you right now, and then your exam actually starts. So the first is section A to start with. You can see the questions, MCQ in front of us first, and then we have a fill in the blank question. So like this, there will be 15 questions. Okay. There is a navigation tool here, a very useful one, which can allow you to jump wherever you want to. So it's up to you. You can jump wherever you want to. So section A comprises of 15 questions. As you can see here, I just click 15th one and I can see a hot area question here. Okay. Like this, you can move towards section B. So let's look at one of the section B question, where you can see one side there is a scenario, and the other side you can see question number 1 relating to this scenario. Remember, every scenario will have 5 OTs. Okay, every scenario will have 5 OTs of section B. So this is section B. Okay. This is the question 2 of this section B. The question is not changing. but the main scenario is not changing, but the questions are just changing. Third one, fourth one, and fifth one. Okay, so this is the first example of section B type question, and like this you have three question like these, and once I move towards the next one, so the question changed. Now let's go to the navigation bar, and yeah, it's question 31, which is your constructive response first question. Let's look at this. You just saw error here. Thankfully it came. You need to scroll the windows. You can't move otherwise to the next one. Okay, sometimes this is really irritating in the paper, so do make sure that you have to do this. Now yeah, here we are. So this is basically CRQ, adjustable screen. This is a good thing. You can just move the screen according to your discretion, like this, you know, make it more shorter. Anyways, you can see the question on one side and you can see the spreadsheet on the other side. This is the spreadsheet, which is something you should know, a very good tool, and I'll try that this becomes your expertise in these 5-day webinar. These are options given here. Obviously, you won't have this option, explain answer. Otherwise, that would not look an exam. Plus, you have the other options. You have a scratch pad. Normally, people do ask where we have to do the rough working. So this is the scratch pad where you can do the rough workings. And then these are tools that I'll discuss once I move on towards these questions. A quick idea I need to give the last one, and that is word processing question. If let's see, we are getting word processing question next slide or not. Yeah, it's a word processing question. Theory will be tested on a word processing sheet where you have to type down the answer. For calculation, it will be a spreadsheet. And like this, you have this navigation tool always available. And you can move towards the question very easily. You can see questions that you haven't done are incomplete, that you have not seen are unseen. And sometimes you have done a question but you're not sure about it, so you can use this option flag for review, and like this you can come back to this question again. So that option is always given here at the top of the screen. You can see here flag for review. So once I click this, so in the navigation bar I will definitely have a mark of flag for review. Yeah, okay, you can come back and do the corrections. So done with this, the exam question, I just showed you the CBE paper, how it looks like. Now, coming towards the PM passing rates, last 7 attempts, like a roller coaster, right? Going up and down. So you can see the passing ratios. The recent attempt was 40%, okay? And now you're moving towards the March attempt. So I want the trend to be the rising one, because you can see it's going upwards, and let's expect this remains on an upward direction. And for that you need to help me out. Okay, you people need to work with me. So are you ready to ensure that trend goes up? Come on guys, say yes or no. Come on, nobody's replying. I don't know why. Do you want this trend to go up? Very less answers. Strange. You don't want? Yeah, you want, right? And for that, let's work hard together. And I am with you people, okay? So let's work hard together, guys. Okay? Nice. Great. So, so this is the PM passing ratios for the last 7 attempts. Now, quickly, certain problems I need to bring in front of you people. Those who have already given the paper, just note it down. Those who will give for the first time, please make sure that you don't end up doing mistakes like these. Okay. So problems relating to section AOTs. I'm just talking very specific right now. Okay. Problems relating to section AOTs. The discussion that I'm doing right now, the reason for this discussion is so that you get a good idea at the start what mistakes we have to cover on. Okay, we'll start our learning very soon. We'll learn all the remaining 4 days then, but the key guidance is missing in the minds of students. Students actually don't know where they are doing it wrong. And this time, I'll try my best to highlight all those problems. Okay, we need to step up, my friends. We need to think big from performance management perspective. Okay, having said that, so let's move on. Common problems in section A. Students are struggling in theory-based OTs. Now, what is the solution for this? The solution is cover theory properly. We are not covering the theory properly. You need to cover up the theory very properly. I'll tell you, once I move on to the next slide, I'll tell you the plan to cover the theory. So this is one problem. In OTs, small questions, people are not able to figure out, the theoretical options or the statements. Second, students are not covering the entire syllabus. I already did mention this. Third, rounding off mistakes when it comes to fill in the blanks. Rounding off mistakes. Now, this is a very minor mistake that we do. We have done all the calculations correct, but we don't know how to round off to nearest thousands. We don't know how to round off to 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place. Okay, so you have done everything perfect, but you don't know how to round off to millions or thousands or 2 decimals or 3 decimals, and you do it wrong. So it's really, really upsetting that we don't know these things. So I will cover up questions. I'll try to ensure that maximum difficulty in this area is covered. Okay. Then we have reason for failure for section B. Section B has its own problems because I did mention that it is a one in which you have a scenario, right? Case study followed by 5 OTs. So people are not approaching section B properly, and I will actually address these problems in these webinars, and I'll tell you today which problems I'll address. So this problem is a one that I'll address today. Once I move towards the question, the students are not reading scenario actively. My friends, you need to keep this in your mind that for section B, it's really easy to do a mistake because the OTs are not isolated OTs like those are tested in section A. The OTs are connected with scenario, but normally, listen, what people do, they don't realize the connection. So today I'll address this problem. Once I move towards the past paper question, I will definitely address this problem in such a good way that you will today realize, okay, this actively means, when I say read the scenario actively, people say in return, this is what we do every time, sir. We are in paper, we read everything very carefully. No, it doesn't mean reading it carefully only. It's what when you are solving the question, you do not relate with the scenario. This is the problem. Actively means you exactly understand all those key things which you have to relate when you're solving the OTs. And this will be addressed today. These two problems will be addressed today. Okay. Rounding off mistakes, again, just because of the numerical questions again coming, we don't know the rounding off policies. So we need to work on these. You can't lose 2 marks just because you don't know how to round off to 3 decimal places. That's a silly mistake. Okay. Okay, so I am sure I've covered this aspect as well. So common problems in section B are very much clear to all of you guys. I will address these 2 problems today and will show you the solution for these 2. Now coming towards the section C problems, again, section C has its own issues. So just note it down, these problems, and we will work on these as well. And you also have to work when you are doing practice at your homes. First, candidates do not understand question requirements. So this remains the same problem. You pick up examiner reports, maybe last 5 or 7 attempts. you will see these are the common issues highlighted again and again. And you know why examiner highlights this again and again? It's because we are not covering all these aspects. It is because you are not looking at these things. So all the new attempt students or the reset ones, please, we need to understand requirements, and Rizwan Mania will ensure this time again in this webinar that I teach you how to grip on the theoretical aspects of CRQs plus the verbs and the objects. Candidates are struggling to use spreadsheets to optimum. Now, this is a tool that is beneficial for you. Listening what I'm saying. This is a tool that will benefit you. People are scared of spreadsheets. Make this towards to your own advantage. You have to know the basic skills of addition, multiplication, power, division, and the presentation as well. So we'll work on this as well. Candidates do not relate answers with scenarios. This is basically for the theory that is tested in CRQ, that you don't apply the knowledge. And again, my previous webinars I've conducted, the current one, I always focus on the application part, and will share you the plan as well, that how you need to cover the previous webinars as well, plus the current one. So do keep this in your mind, that whatever plans you are following till today, just forget all those, just follow the plan that I'll share from today for the remaining days of the exam. Okay. Candidates are not focusing on gaining easy marks. I will cover this aspect today. How to catch up easy marks. We'll figure out this, how to catch up easy marks as well, right? Last, candidates are answering what they thought they were being asked rather than what they were being asked, which means you answer what you think you were asked, but not what exactly was asked. So this is a problem. And this really relates to the lack of question understanding. This is a major issue. Every time the examiner repeats this again and again and again, that try to understand, you have to answer what is being asked, not what you know. So we'll resolve once we move towards CRQ theory based. I've highlighted the areas that I'll be tackling today, and these two is one that I'll be tackling today for section C, and for section B, I'll be tackling with these two issues for today. Okay. So done with this. Now the big thing is the next 2 weeks planner. I'm sure you need the planner. Say yes or no. If you will say yes, the more yes I get, then I'll share the plan. Okay. Very few less, very few yeses here. Anyways, I brought this for you. Now, first attend current webinars all 5 days. Okay. No margin available here. Will you? Again, say yes or no. Second, follow the $1 million plan that I'll share at the end of each webinar day. Each webinar day. Follow the $1 million plan. Agreed? Day one, I'll at the end share the plan. You need to follow that. Then day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. So if you want to pass, just forget about your previous failures, previous strategies and whatever. Just follow what I'm saying here. Okay. Attend the grand revision. I'll share the details of grand revision with you people. You will attend this revision. That will give you a good confidence booster. And the details of these will be shared with you on the WhatsApp group. So you just send me a quick WhatsApp message. If you're already part of my groups, no issues. Don't send it. If you're not, then send. I'll share the link and you will be part of that. Then read few chapters from book. Yeah, I can't say that leave the book, few chapters, only few chapters. I'll not put burden on you. I know 2 weeks are left. So this again will be shared on the WhatsApp group. I will share a screenshot of the index and will tell you the chapters to read from the book. Whether it's BPP or Kaplan, I will prefer if you have BPP, but if you don't have, no issues. You can use Kaplan as well. Okay, few chapters. Rest cover from my easy slides. The study slides, the study notes have been given to you and are also attached right now as well. You can look at the application. You'll see the easy notes available, and they have also emailed to you. So just cover those notes. That will be really easy for you to cover up the things, short things. So this is how you will cover things. Attempt mock and get it checked by the expert PM tutor. This is mandatory. This is mandatory. Until unless we don't attempt mock, we exactly don't know where we are lacking. You know, the major reason for failure is that people are not sure where they are lacking. So I want everybody to strictly ensure that they do attempt mock and get it checked by the any PM expert tutor. Also, this is an optional. I will be arranging a mock based sessions that will be unfortunately paid sessions. So if you want to, you can be part of these mock based sessions where we'll give you the mock, you can check, and we'll get back to you on that with a detailed individual feedback. So that is optional for you, but these are the things that you have to do for sure, for sure. Okay, so it's a 2 weeks plan, very well settled plan I've made for you people. Just follow this plan and you will be able to easily cover up the things, and inshallah you all will pass in March 2021. Okay, so for this you can let me know to the WhatsApp. We'll share the details, plus these are the things that I will share with you. Now, scope of the webinar. We are quickly coming towards our first topic. So the webinar will be covering 30% knowledge base. Yeah, I'm strictly saying that here I'm not to teach you everything. And in fact, it's not your intention to learn the things, right? So we are not here to teach everything, but yes, I will give you knowledge of all the respective topics that I will be solving the past papers of. So obviously, right? 70% practice based. New topics will be covered this time. The remaining topics that I've covered last time. So what you need to do, $1 million plan that I am sharing every day at the end will be covering all the topics from the previous webinar. So if you follow all 5 days and you look at my plans and you follow those plans, then lots of topics will be covered. Okay. Must watch webinar 20 link. I'll share this. I'll tell you about this. I have already incorporated that into the $1 million plan, so don't worry about it. I will focus on section A and section B OTs and C constructive response questions. I'll use ACCA examination platform to give you the idea about the exam environment. Okay, so it's a very simple scope of the webinar for March 2021. I hope you have noted all these things. People normally want to note the plans. So next 2 weeks plan, if you want to note it down, you can quickly take a screenshot or picture of this as well. Okay, because this is important for you. Okay, now having discussed the scope of the webinar day-wise plan is now in front of us. First day I've dedicated for budgets, then variances, then this very important third day. Note it down, third day, very important. I know all the days are important, but performance measurement is a one where people struggle mainly. Okay, so this third day is extremely important for all of you. So make sure that you are part of the third day. You have to be part of all the days, but this is, you know, a bit more important, I would say, because I will discussing $1 million techniques and will make this a piece of a cake. To be honest, a piece of a cake for you, inshallah. Okay, but yeah, all the days are important. So this is the planner. Now let's start with the first one. We are almost here. where we need to start with the plan, budgeting, a quick past paper analysis, the analysis that you are seeing in front of your screen. I will show such analysis every day for every section, and that will be really good for you. So you can take the screenshot of these as well. Okay. Yeah, is the past paper question analysis. But right now, just I'll just stop here and we'll take any questions if you people have. Okay, please give me the group. The admin will share the link. This is one option. If you are not getting the link, no issues. You send me a quick WhatsApp message, and after the webinar, I'll share with you. Okay. Now, any other question you need to ask? How to reply to sir? You are already writing in the chat box, so you are in the chat box. So this is the chat box where you need to reply. Okay, anything else? When will be the mock held? Mock will be held on 21st, okay, and 21st approximately. Okay. Let's move on. Yeah, theory-based chapters, definitely I'll cover. Those which are important, I'll definitely cover those. Okay. Further, please. The best way to prepare theory, obviously practice and just figure out the issues. So today, whatever issues I will highlight in front of you people, so you just figure out that in the remaining 5 days and work on those. Okay. Okay. So I think taking certain questions, and like this, I will stop every time I'll take up the questions. Now you can see here, calculation 38 marks have been tested, and theory 109 marks have been tested in budgets. So I'll do a good analysis every day and will bring in front of you people. So 75% of the tests, 75% have been tested for theory. Budgets, it's just budgets only. Okay, these are the questions. June 2009, December, June, December 12, 13, 15, 16, and 19. So this is the trend of budgets, and majority times whenever it came for theory, but calculations are also important to consider. And I will definitely tell you the $1,000,000 plan today at the day end, where if you follow that plan, you can cover these exams questions that I've done in my previous so many webinars as well. Okay, but today I'll not repeat the old questions, I'll do the new ones. So this was a quick past paper analysis of budgets. Today's topic that are most tested are hot areas, incremental and zero-based budgets. This is the action plan. Then we'll do a question, then fixed flexible, a quick short discussion, again a question practice, then a quick discussion about the theory. I'll do it before I share the $1,000,000 plan, because this last will be very important. And once you hear this last one, so after that, you will be given a $1,000,000 plan that will help you to cover up the theories. So guys, it's 1 hour almost now, and we are done with a good introduction about the things of performance management. Those who are beginners, beginner means here that those who are appearing for the first time, they also will get a good idea. And those who are resets, they have to work on the things. I already mentioned the problems that I will deal. Now, let's begin with budget types. Quick summary. There are 6 types of budgets in your exam: fixed, flexible, incremental, zero-based, rolling, and activity-based budgets. I'll first quickly jump towards these 2 because these are tested more for the exam, and these are the one that needs to be kept in your mind. So let's begin with the first one, incremental and zero-based. Just understand the basic what I'm giving you. All these basics will be a revision for you people. Okay, and after that we will be definitely moving towards a question to actually apply that knowledge on the question. So here you need to learn how to apply the things. Now, I'll quickly jump first towards the incremental budget, and a very good summary is in front of me. Incremental budget is a one that starts from the key thing to remember for definition as well. You need to learn certain definitions so that you can replicate that in the paper. Okay, so budget starts from previous year budget or actual result. This is a key thing. Now, in which you need to incorporate two things. That is, number one, inflation. Number two, known changes. Very easy summary. And these are the easy notes I'm talking about that we have already shared to you people. So, incremental budget starts from the previous budget or the actual results, okay, in which we need to incorporate two things. So what we incorporate here? We incorporate inflation, okay, and known change. Whatever we incorporate, we do justify that because we need a justification for these two things. As we start from previous period actual results mainly, so we need to justify why are we including inflation, what percentage is that, and why are we using that percentage. Plus, for known changes, again we need to justify what changes you plan to do in the next period. Normally changes includes we are hiring more employees, or we are just cutting down the cost of employees or paper or stationery. So these are known changes which are very clearly mentioned in the question. So you have to just highlight those changes and just incorporate that. Now, from examination point of view, what is the important tip that I would give here? The $1,000,000 tip I'm talking about. In the paper, just highlight these things. Okay, just highlight these things. Just highlight these things in the paper, right? Because once you have highlighted these things, you exactly know that, okay, these are the things that I have to incorporate in my calculation. So for today also and for exam also, once you find any changes like these given, so just highlight those. Inflation is a percentage that is given, and known changes are the planned changes that they intend to do. Okay. Now, the question is, when do we use this incremental budget? When do we use this incremental budget? So you need to keep this in your mind. And this point is for theory. Okay, this point is for theory. These are mainly for calculation, the one I mentioned earlier. Definition is what you need to learn. So I'm giving you a very good, idea what to do. Definition, just learn it. These are for the calculation. This is for the theory. So stable conditions. Normally there are questions in exam. I'm talking about the theory ones where you have to discuss whether incremental budget is useful for a certain company or not. So if you are required to do this, okay, if you're required to do this, so in that case, you need to keep this keyword in your mind, stable conditions. So look at the conditions in the scenario, okay? Just look at the condition in the scenario. Maybe there are certain things given like the business is working in a stable environment, or it could be the business is not working in a stable environment, in a very dynamic environment the business is working, right? So this is what you have to look in the scenario. So stable means that changes are not very much. Now why I'm saying this is because as you know that we start from previous period actual results. This is the point of starting, right? This is the point of starting. So as we start from previous period actual results, and we just incorporate two things, that is, we incorporate inflation and known change. This means we are relying on the fact that the previous numbers are accurate enough. We are relying on the fact that yes, okay, that yes, previous figures are what? Previous figures are reliable, and yes, because these are reliable, so we will be focusing on those. So this is the thing that you need to keep in your mind, and that is reliability is what you have to remember in your minds, that the previous figures are reliable, and stable condition means that things are stable. There is not a big change. That is why we rely on the previous figures and incorporate the changes. Okay. Now, What benefit will we get using incremental budget? Obviously, by the understanding that I just gave you right now, as we start from previous results, right? This means it is very less time consuming activity. Okay, it saves a lot of time because you only need to justify the increment. We only need to justify the increment, and that saves time. But the problem, the danger, the issue is what? The issue is, as we are relying on the previous figures, as we are relying on the previous actual results, okay, as we're relying on the previous actual results. So if if okay, just wait, please. Okay, please, a quick confirmation that can people hear my voice clearly and the video as well? Can people hear my voice clearly? Okay, and you can see the video as well. You can see me as well, right? Not the screen only. Okay, you can see me, right? All the three things are okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now, as I mentioned, that you just have to justify the changes like inflation by looking at the environment, plus the changes that you have planned for your business. You just have to incorporate that, so it saves time. But the problem is what? Now, the problem is in this actual results. If your previous actual results, if your previous actual results includes unnecessary cost, it includes wasteful spending, so that will be something that one cannot identify that, because no justification, okay, no justification was required on these actual results. Are you getting my point? No justification was required. So if no justification was required, so prior period issues, previous period issues like uneconomic activities will continue in the next period. For example, if you have done any wasteful spending in the previous year, for example, there was some wastage. I'm talking about the abnormal wastage, okay, or there was some deliberate theft, okay, or there was some deliberate over price buying, okay. So all these things will easily be incorporated into the next period. For example, your head of department may be purchasing goods from his or her own relative at a higher cost, and if that person is doing that, as nobody will ask why you have done, so he or she will continue to do that in the coming periods as well. So uneconomic activities will be continued, plus it encourages wasteful spending to ensure budgets are met. Okay, so you can see here that this encourages wasteful spending. Obviously, you will try to meet the budgets every time, and and why you would try to meet budgets every time is because that the actual result is basically the starting point for the next period budgets. Okay, so this may encourage wasteful spending, deliberately spending more and more and more and more, because they know that this actual result will become the starting point for the next year, and for the next year they will have a better allowance, or they can spend more openly. Okay, so this is basically the mindset that may develop using incremental budgets. And as I mentioned that this is a danger, that previous issues, previous problems will continue into the next period because no justification is being asked on that. So incremental budget, quick summary. If I just give you a quick recap of the summary. So let's come on, revise with me. Definition starts from previous period budget or actual results. what to incorporate: inflation and known change. Okay, when it is useful in stable conditions where you can rely on previous years, so it's useful in that case. What advantage it provides? It is time saving. You just need to justify the increment, that is inflation and known change. What are the issues? The problem is previous inefficiencies or uneconomic activities will easily be part of the next year as well, and it will encourage wasteful spending as well, because people want to get more and more allowance in the coming year, so they know that the more they spend, it becomes the starting point for the next year. Okay, so this is incremental budget. Now, any questions for incremental budget? Ali Usama, I can see your comment here. Any questions for incremental budget? Yeah, this is the chat box. Hussein, Muhammad Hussein, this is the chat box. You are at the right place. Okay. Any questions? Right. No questions. Great. Now, the second budget type. Okay, as for breaks, people are asking me again and again. There is a very set plan that I didn't mention earlier. Each day I'll give you a break after 1.5 hours. Okay, so 1.5 hours I will give you break. So this means that the break that I'll give you today is just 17 minutes away. Okay, so just please wait for 17 more minutes. At 5:30 local Pakistan time, I'll give you the break. Do we need to prepare a budget table? What sort of budget your exact budget table you are talking about? I'm not clear what your exact question is here. Yeah, inshallah, Ayman Fatma, this will be a game changer. Okay, Anam Noor, define known changes. Known changes, as I mentioned, for example, you have planned that you will cut down the paper cost. So there'll be a 20% reduction in the paper cost. One example. The other example is, for example, you want to do capital expand. You want to do renovation of the canteen. Okay, so the renovation expense is a known change. Another example could be that you are planning to reduce your staff. You will reduce 2 or 3 staff members, so that will result in a cost reduction. So this is an example of known change. Okay. Okay. Now, budget type. Let's start. Zero-based budget. So let's begin with zero-based budgets. Zero-based budget is alternative to incremental. So just very quickly listen, because we are very close to our first question. Zero-based budget is a totally opposite thing of incremental budget. Incremental budget starts from previous year actual figures, right? But zero-based budget starts from scratch, which requires justification relating to every activity. In zero base, our mindset is to start from scratch. We assume whatever has been done in the past is not relevant for the current period. So in this budget, the mindset is all what has been done in the past is old. We don't bother to look at that. Okay, we don't bother to look at that. And everything starts from the scratch. Everything starts from the scratch. Everything needs to be justified. So how we prepare zero-based budget? The first step is decision package. We make decision packages which states the purpose of the activity. So a quick idea, activity is what? Like canteen is an activity. So we make a decision package for the canteen. Maintenance of AC is an activity in an organization, so we prepare a decision package for that. So what we do, we determine all the activities of an organization like canteen, maintenance of AC, maintenance of warehouse, all the activities are identified and we make decision package for them. Quickly, what decision package does? Decision package basically indicates the purpose of the activity, the purpose, the reason why this activity is being performed and what is the reason behind it. So once we prepare decision packages for all the activities, the second step is we do an evaluation on the basis of cost versus benefit. Okay, cost versus benefit. Okay, so we do an evaluation of cost versus benefit, right? We compare all the activity decision package. For example, we compare canteen decision package with maintenance of AC decision package. Like this, we compare all the decision packages and we do a cost versus benefit analysis, which means we look at their cost and the benefit they can provide to the organization, right? And on the basis of that C versus B, we perform ranking, and on the basis of ranking, we allocate the resources to those activities. So those activity that will rank the highest will first be included in the budget. So it's a very thorough exercise that we perform here, and this basically is an activity which is completely opposite to what we used to do in incremental budget. One thing I need to add here in step number 1, in this decision package, we determine two things. We determine the basic package, okay, and we determine the additional package. Now, basic package is the compulsory one. Compulsory one means that basic package means that this is the minimum level of work you need to perform. Okay, a quick idea I need to give you for canteen. So the basic things required in the canteen are what? The basic thing includes water, okay, refreshment, I would say. So in an organization, if you have a canteen, so the basic uh, activity of canteen includes selling refreshments like tea, water, snacks, okay. So this is basic. So we need to determine the basic things in which you can't compromise actually, and the additional activities. So additional means what? Additional means the further on adds on, like in a canteen, go for a complete food buffet, okay, make your canteen more centralized, air conditioned one, make a more sophisticated canteen. So these are the additional activities you perform. So in decision package, we determine the basic one which is the minimum level required in any case for canteen to be a canteen, and then the additional packages which are done for an additional benefit and cost. So in this decision package, we determine both. Okay. So these are the steps of zero-based budget. And now, having said that, we perform a thorough activity. So what benefit will this provide us? Let's look at the benefits. Such a thorough activity of zero-based budget ensures, number one, efficient allocation of the resources. You will agree, because you are not taking into consideration what you have done in the past. Okay, what you have done in the past, you are not taking that into consideration. So this means you have to justify everything from right from the scratch. So because of this ranking, best allocation will be done. Those where the cost needs to be spent or the amount needs to be spent, you will spend on that only. So it removes the wasteful spending. Plus, it increases staff involvement. Reason is everybody will prepare their own decision packages. Each divisional manager or department manager will make their own package, so their involvement will increase, and obviously they'll get more motivated because of the involvement. Third, manager consider alternatives. In zero-based budget, you need to adopt a questioning attitude. Okay, what I mean to say by questioning attitude, it's mean that you need to look at the better and better alternatives, because you need to justify why are you doing this work. A quick example here, in a canteen, you can buy the food or you can outsource the food, okay, from an outside You can outsource the food to an outside company, or you can make your own food in-house. So this is what? This is an alternative of getting the food in the canteen. So you need to understand which is a better option. For that, you will weigh the cost of buying from outside or outsourcing company or the cost of making in-house. So manager looks for the alternative and select the best, which is best for the one. Okay. Uh, Coming towards the drawbacks, which are very important again to keep in your mind. It is time consuming and costly for sure, because so many decision packages are required to be prepared, so many work needs to be done, so much paperwork is involved in that. Okay, so it takes time and cost. Ranking activities may be difficult when activity benefits are of qualitative nature. So as you know, we do perform the ranking, right? As you know, we do perform the ranking. So this ranking may get difficult. This ranking may get difficult because if activity for which you are doing the ranking are uh, of qualitative nature. Now, qualitative means what? Something you can't measure. Okay. For example, I'm giving you a quick idea. In an organization, one decision package is for canteen for employees, and one decision package is for the maintenance of AC for the entire organization. Okay. Now, the benefits that you get from canteen is food, energy, motivation, something which is difficult to measure from employees' perspective. Okay. Secondly, the benefit that you get from maintenance of AC is that good working environment, a good environment at the workplace, and people will not get exhausted, they will not sweat there, and they will be energetic and will work more. So if you're providing them food through the canteen, okay, free food to them through the canteen, and you are providing a AC environment, so the benefits of both are of qualitative nature for you at an organization level to measure what benefit canteen is giving to the employee and what benefit AC, good condition AC is giving to the employee. For you, it is difficult to check, difficult to measure because of the qualitative benefits, and this can make your uh, ranking difficult. Okay. Yeah, it requires skills of the managers because managers are preparing the decision packages, so you need to train them. If they are not trained, so you need to train them as well. Okay. May focus on short-term aspects rather than long-term. Obviously, there is another threat of zero-based budget is that it sometimes focuses on short-term aspects and ignore the long-term aspects. A quick idea, listen very carefully because this is all will apply in the scenario. A quick idea is that, for example, I can say here, for example, the cost of canteen that has been identified for the budget is a small one, whereas the cost of AC maintenance is a large one because AC requires a proper treatment. Okay, so now the cost of canteen is less, whereas the cost of AC maintenance is high. So management decided, okay, let's not go towards the maintenance of AC and let's include canteen this time in the budget. So what they ignored the high cost of AC over the low cost of canteen. Now, what impact this can bring? Obviously, if ACs are not working right, so people may get demotivated because there is a possibility that people might need a good working environment. And if they want that, and if they leave the organization, this can have a bad impact on the organization. So sometimes there is a possibility to reduce the cost in the short term. You ignore the long-term benefit of good working environment, and that can create a problem. So this is another point that I need to make. It may encourage short-term focus compared to long-term. So this is zero-based budget. Now, the last thing, remember, it is useful for public sector organizations. Why? Because public sector are basically not for profit. Okay, public sector are basically not for profit. So for not for profit organization, it's useful because not for profit organizations don't want to earn profits. uh, their objective is not to earn profits, so their objective is to control the cost. Their objective is to control the cost because they are there for the welfare of the society, right? So their ultimate objective is not to earn profit, so they control the cost, and zero-based budget is a very good option to control the cost, because in zero-based budget everything needs to be justified right from the scratch. Secondly, it is useful for service organizations as well, because in service organization there is less fixed cost. Okay, there is less fixed cost and there is more variable cost. So if there is less fixed cost, so this means you have the room available to go for a proper questioning about variable cost, because variable cost is a cost that varies, right? So having more variable cost means that a proper questioning can be done for these variable costs, and you can go for the minimum variable cost, you can reduce the cost. But if there is more involvement of fixed cost, so yeah, it is a fixed cost, you can't do much, right? So service organization normally are more that normally are one in which you incur more variable costs, not fixed cost. Fixed cost is less in service organization because of the human involvement, of the people involvement. Okay, so it's again useful in case of service organization where the variable cost involvement is more and less fixed cost, because it gives you more opportunity to have a questioning attitude. Variable cost is the one that you can easily control because that varies, right? So a quick summary: zero-based budget starts from the scratch. Everything needs to be justified. It encourages a questioning attitude. What are the steps? Decision package for each activity, evaluate and rank the package, okay, and allocate the resources. Advantage: it is something that removes the wasteful spending problems of the previous period, which were in the incremental budget, and it motivates people and they prepare the decision packages. Drawbacks: ranking may become subjective because of qualitative benefits between the activities. It requires skills, time, and training for the managers, and there is a chance that it may encourage short-term aspects compared to long-term. So this was a quick summary of zero-based budget. Now we are almost at the past paper, section B, and we'll discuss that. Now, if you have any questions, please. Known change link with internal management decisions. Yeah, you can say. Yeah. Syed Shahid Ali. Yeah. Sir, if you can give an example in manufacturing concern regarding it is useful in manufacturing as well. But for service sector, normally, as I mentioned, that the cost of fixed is less than. But yeah, you can use in any manufacturing organization where for example, you need to cut down the cost. There are public sector manufacturing organizations as well, but mainly it's more towards the service sector. Okay, sir, if you give an example, the next question: service organization have large fixed cost. Okay, what else? Not dynamic. Requires a proper, uh, proper thorough analysis, justification. So that's why it reduces the cost. Okay. Okay. So it's time for a break before I start with the past paper. Guys, it's 5:31 here, and I'll resume at 5:44. I'll resume at 5:44. So it's a break, and see you 5:44. Stay connected. Be with me. We'll start with a question at 5:44. Okay. So welcome guys. Before I proceed, please just confirm, can you all hear my voice? Yes, please. Can you all hear my voice? Do you think I'm audible? Okay, and my video is clear as well? Okay, is my video clear? Okay, so we are back from the break, and yeah, I was seeing certain questions here regarding my one explanation of zero-based budget in terms of service sector. So, okay, let me just clarify this. My point here is that service industries, those service industries in which you have an option of alternatives, okay? Service industries where you have alternatives, right? So in those service industry where you have alternative of different activities, for example, you have an option that you can get the food from outside, or you can make your own food. Okay, so in that case you are not bound, and your major expenditure covers the variable aspects. So here you have an opportunity to use zero based budget because you are not fixed on one particular option for an activity. So my point here is that those service industries, those service organizations in which the nature of the business is such that you have multiple alternatives or option available to perform one activity. So this means you are not bound. In that case, your major expenditures coming from variable areas, and because you are not bound and because you can switch to different alternatives, so that is why it will be beneficial for from that perspective. Okay, in general, yeah, in general, service industries are subject to high fixed cost base. Okay, but the point is that those from zero based perspective I'm talking about, those service industries where you can see that the the activities has multiple options of alternatives available. In that case it's useful because you can go for option number one, or you can switch to option two, option three, and you're bound in that case. Okay, so this was the point here. I'm not talking about in general specific to zero based budget. So I hope I made this clear. In this case, yeah, everyone. Okay, is this clear to all of you, the explanation that I gave right now? Because I saw few questions coming on that area. Yes, please, quick response. Is this clear now? Okay, that's great. Great. So the perspective, I made the perspective clear that when you're not bound, you have additional alternatives available. So that I was actually explaining about the variable aspect. Okay, in general, okay, that's correct. In general, we know about the nature of service business, but specific to zero base, this was the explanation. Now it's time for the fast paper section B. Guys, are you all ready? So a tip is, this will be for 10 marks multiplied by 1.8. So you get 18 minutes for this. Okay, you have 18 minutes for this. So in general, don't look at one question of section B. In fact, the entire section B is for 18 marks. Okay, entire section B question 1 is for 18 minutes. Sorry, 18 minutes you have. So you have 18 minutes to solve one OT case study. Why I'm telling you this is you need to ensure that you are within the time. Don't exceed the time. The examiner has mentioned very clearly, if 18 minutes done, move on. The point here is we can't waste too much time on one area. If there is one OT, and one very important technique, listen, if out of the 5 OTs, one is a difficult OT, so you can leave that, attempt the next 4, because there is no connection as such between one OT of section B with the other OT of that section B question. It's not that you get answer from one question number 1 and then you use the answer of that in question number 2. It's not that. Okay, so this is a good advantage you have. Don't waste your time. Go for easy ones, solve the easy ones quickly so that you grab the marks. Actively read scenario based questions, highlighting information that is relevant for each part of the requirement. Actively read scenario. So let's move on towards the question. So I picked a really good question, and let's attempt this from, yeah. Okay, the question has been attached here as well. So let's use this one. Let's download this question. And this is section B, and I want to highlight the issues. So I'm just repeating by the time it opens, the issues I need to highlight in front of you people. So the issues are what in section B, what normally students do in section B, normally we are not reading the scenario in the right way. Okay. Plus we are solving questions in isolation. That's wrong. You can't solve questions in isolation, which means that the question that you are attempting has a connection with the scenario, so you can't ignore that connection at all, right? So this is what you have to keep in your mind. Let's do it. Let's start. 18 minutes. You can see the time. It's a scenario followed by 5 OTs, 2 marks each. And remember, the answers of OTs are not connected to each other. So let's start. Okay. Do underline important numbers and things like that. Okay. So now what I'll do here first, listen the technique. First, I'll read the requirements just to get the idea of the topic that has been tested. Okay. So the first is, what is the budgeted profit for the hotel Northwest for 20x1 to the nearest whole dollar? Now, this is a very important requirement to keep in your mind. Nearest whole dollar. If the hotel changed to zero-based budget, match the steps in the correct order in which they should be carried out. Okay, great. This is something you can do without reading the scenario as well. Okay, so simple, straightforward. But are the following statement about zero-based budget for hotel company true or false? Now, this is all scenario-based. Case study. You can't write, you can't identify the options wrong or right on the basis of general understanding that you have. So I'll make sure that you do understand what I'm saying here. Which two is important? Two of the following problems relating to ZBB would apply to the hotel. Would apply, which means according to the scenario. Okay, this is the mistake people are doing. 3 months to 20x3, hotels look at the results and forecast of its hotel. Which of the following situation describes feed forward control has been tested here? Okay. Now, it's zero-based budget and feed forward that I can easily figure out from the question. Now, let's read and see what is about. H Hotels operates a chain of supermarket hotels across the country of Westland. Each hotel manager is responsible for producing an annual budget based on targets set by the head office. So it's the hotel manager who prepares the budget. Okay. Online budget training is available for all managers. So they know how to make it. Hotel Co has recently updated its information system, okay, updated, and it is capable of providing extensive cost information for managers. So take it very easy, okay? It's not difficult. Take it easy. Managers find the new system easy to use, okay? So they don't have any issues. They think this is easy to use. Okay. It provides lots of information to the managers. 20x0, 20x1. In 20x1, the hotel used incremental, okay, based on previous year actual results. Okay. Estimated cost inflation was 5. I did mention when I was explaining anything that relates to percentage or known change, just underline it or circle it. And occupancy has estimated to be 2% points higher. Okay. The hotel Northwest is a typical hotel in the chain and opens for 360 days a year. The budget and actual results for hotel are given to you. So this is the budget of 20x0. This is 20x0 actual. Okay. We have revenue, variable cost, and fixed cost. Now 20x2. According to the target set by head office for 20x2, the company hoped to raise total revenue by 7% and total profit by 14%. Okay. By the end of the year, total profits had only increased by 9% because of lack of cost control. Okay. Great. Lack of cost control was there. The hotel is considering whether zero-based budget would be beneficial given 20x2 results. So by looking at these results, they are thinking whether to switch to zero-based budget or not. Okay, because they are currently using incremental. Now let's start with question number 1, and it is about what is the total budgeted profit for hotel for Northwest for 20x1 to the nearest whole dollar, and this is for 2 marks. Okay. Now one thing I need to tell you very quickly, listen, look at the, understand the techniques. One very important thing I need to bring in front of your mind is, remember, it is an 18-mark question, which means certain requirements you will be able to solve quickly and certain you will take more time. Okay, so you need to average it out. So it's not that one question and all the questions of same section B should take the same time. No, you need to average it out. So certain will be easy ones. So just grab the easy ones quickly. Okay, you get the marks, and difficult ones will take more time. That is okay. That is completely acceptable. So no need to worry about that. Right? Now, okay, this is the question. So you are required to work out the total budgeted profit for 20x1. Now, what information is relevant for 20x1? So just try to understand that they mention that they start from the previous year's actual result, and the actual result of 20x0 are given to you here. Okay, so this what you have to use. This what you have to use. Okay, so how to move on then? You have been given with the revenue of 110. You have the variable cost of 40 and fixed cost of 130. But do bear in mind that they start from this actual figure and they prepare the budget. So you need to prepare budget for 20x1. Okay, you need to prepare budget for 20x1 as given in the question. Now you will start from 20x0, where you have the revenue of 110 and you have variable cost of 40, but do incorporate this inflation. Your cost will be increased by 5%. You need to increase the 5% cost, right? Which means your variable cost will increase by 5%. Okay, variable cost will increase by 5%. So 40 multiplied by 105% is what you're going to do here. And let me calculate this. Okay, so we have a figure 40 incorporate the 5% into this will be how much? This will be 42. Okay, and fixed cost is also you need to increase, which is 130 multiplied by 105% to incorporate inflation. So it's 130 multiplied by 1.05 is 136,500. So this is the inflation adjustment that I made here. Inflation adjustment, increase the cost by 5 and fixed cost by 5%. Done. Now we are in a very good position to work out the total profit. Okay. Now I'll do a calculation here. In section B, there's no need to show proper calculations. Okay. It's up to you wherever you work out using calculator or the scratch pad. Scratch pad workings will not be marked in the paper. So you can do on your own. Now let's start with the revenue per unit is 110. You deduct the variable cost, which is 42. So you get contribution per unit. So it's 110 minus 42, and you will get a figure of 68 per unit. Okay. Now 68 multiplied by what? So this is basically per night. Okay, this is per night. So this is contribution per unit means per night. So I need to multiply this with the number of nights to work out the total. So yes. So it says number of rooms available are 20. Okay, so I'll multiply with the number of nights. So this is 20 rooms available into the hotel is in operation for 360 days a year. Can you see this figure? Okay, so 360 days, you will get the total number of days the rooms were available. Okay, and it's did mention that the occupancy was 2% higher. Now the occupancy was 2% higher. So you can see here the percentage. I'm trying to highlight this, but cannot due to some reason. So yeah, it says 2% higher. So the actual was 75. Okay, and 2% higher means 75 plus 2. This makes 77. Okay, 77. So 2% higher will be incorporated into this. So this makes 77. So we are operating at 77% capacity. So obviously I'll multiply this with 77% to make this 77% capacity. Now 20 multiplied by 360 into 0.77 will give you the capacity in which you will operate, and you multiply this with 68. So you get the okay, you will get you will get the total contribution. So what is the total contribution? It's 376,992. Now this is taking my time in the paper. Okay, question like this will take your time. You can see it is taking the time, right? But I will cover this time by some other question that will not take time. So I'll cover through other question. Getting the point, everyone, right? So this is the total contribution I have. 68 per unit, 20 rooms into 360 days, 77% occupancy. Now from this, I will deduct the fixed cost. So the fixed cost is, I've already worked out the fixed cost increase, and it's 136,500, right? So minus 136,500, and you will be at the profit. Okay, so it's 240,492. So thank God, no decimals here, nothing of decimals here. So I'm getting this answer in front of you. It's 240,492, and I'll input this answer in the cell, in the fill in the blank, and here is my answer. So this question hasn't taken too much time. Okay, are we clear? Getting the point, everyone? Say yes or no. Right? Please confirm so that I can proceed. 240,492. Okay, great. Now let's done with this one, and let's move on. This took my time. The other will cover up. The other will cover up. This is what you have to keep in your mind. It's to the nearest whole dollar, not the nearest to thousands. Okay, it's nearest whole dollar. So nearest whole dollar, we got the answer itself in dollars, 492. Okay, now if it would have been 240,492.3, or okay, 2.2, 240,492.2. So the nearest would be the same. Nearest would be the same. Are you getting the point? And if the answer would be 240,492.7, so what would be the nearest dollar then? Come on, can you tell me, anyone? If it is 492.7, so what will be the nearest dollar then? Okay, what will be the answer then? Yeah, it will be 240,493, right? So this is the nearest dollar. Okay. Why are we multiplying with the nights? Obviously, you have to work out the total budgeted profit, right? So for total budgeted profit, you need the profit for the entire year, and you had contribution per night. So you need to multiply with the number of nights, right? To get the total profit for the entire year. So nearest dollar is clear to all of you? Okay. Now the next one. Here I'll save my time. Steps. Correct step. This is a drag and drop question. Drag and drop. First, what we do: allocation of the resources, identification of decision package basic level, evaluation and ranking of each activity, identification of decision package incremental packages. Okay, so what is the step one? Step one is basic package, the one where you cannot compromise, as I mentioned earlier, right? Second is incremental package, the additional packages. Additional is incremental package. Okay, additional is incremental package. Third, evaluation and ranking of each package. Okay, evaluation and ranking of each package. Fourth, allocation of the resources. So this question is saving my time. This is not taking time. So the time that you took in the above one is compensated here. This is what you have to learn. Are you getting the point? This is what you have to learn, right? So first is, it's the decision package, which includes the basic package, and then comes the incremental package. Okay, clear? So this saved my time here. Now let's move on to the next one, 238. Listen, following statements about zero-based budget. Okay, now try to understand. ZBB is particularly useful for cost reduction exercise. Listen, everyone. The examiner has mentioned this lot of times, and I also mentioned initially that you do not have to consider this OT in isolation. You can't consider this in isolation. You have to relate this to the scenario. Relate this to the scenario, and you have to then answer. Okay, so first of all, listen. My first question is this statement, just follow the way I'm solving this. This will make really easy for you. Just follow my technique. First, ask question number 1. Is this something that is true about zero-based budget? First of all, solve like this. Is this relating to zero-based budget? Yes. A general yes. It's a general yes. That, yeah, zero-based budget is useful for cost reduction exercise because you ask justification about everything. You ask justification about everything. So it is a one that can help you in cost reduction. Now the second question is, does it relates to the case? Does it relates to the case? Then you will decide the answer is right or wrong. Okay, it's not just about the statement being true about the technique. The statement is true about zero-based budget, but the question is it related to the scenario? This is the next question. So yes, yes. And how I found out this? Now look, see, wow, what a link. What a link. This is where people are lacking. This is where my students are lacking. Learn this technique. Because of incremental budget, they were not being able to control the cost. And now they need zero-based budget to control the cost. Okay. So this is a link I made with the scenario. And now I will say, okay, this is true. Understood? Now there could be a possibility in the paper, for example, if it is written in the question that they are doing very good cost controlling, for example, by using XYZ technique, just giving you an idea. Now, if they are already doing good cost controlling, then in this scenario, this option will not be correct. Getting the point? In general, this is true about zero-based budget, but general is not enough. It should be linked to the scenario. So considering scenario, it is appropriate or not. This is the second question you need to ask yourself. So for section B, the technique, the $1 million technique is that when you solve question like this, ask two questions. Is the statement in general true about that particular thing? And second, is relates to the scenario or not? Because it could be that it doesn't relate to the scenario. And in that case, it would be wrong. So you can easily do a mistake here by thinking generally, which is not the case. Second, ZBB is particularly useful for cost structures such as hotels company. Now, cost structures. Now, is it true or false? So the first question is in general terms, which cost structures zero-based budget suits to? In general, which cost structures zero-based budget suits to? A one where you have the liberty to go for multiple options, like you're not bound in terms of cost. So variable nature. Getting the point? Variable nature. I explained you earlier. So the cost structure that focuses more on variable nature is a one where you have the luxury to go for alternatives. If you are not bound through a fixed one, so you are open, right? So something that is of variable nature, an activity where you have different options. For example, breakfast, from where to get the breakfast in the hotel, to make the breakfast in-house or to get it from outside, you're open. So option like these where you have something which is more variable in nature, the cost structure I'm talking about. This means you are open to options and you can think about the multiple options and you can go for that particular alternative option which is best for the company. Getting the point? So in general, it suits the cost structure where variable thing is more, right? Second, is it true about the hotels? Yes, it is true about the hotels, because in hotels as well, you have different options. As I mentioned, the meal option, the breakfast options, where you can consider multiple options from where to get the breakfast for the, as I gave you example about the canteen, just prepare the food in-house or to get the ready-made food from the outside. So the answer is yes, it suits the hotel, because here also you have multiple options available for a certain activity. Getting the point? So see how easy I'm making this for you people. It's the mindset that you need to change. PM is not difficult, but yes, PM requires you to work hard. PM requires you to work hard. PM paper is not difficult, but it requires you to work hard, which means you need to understand the mindset. So two questions to ask, right? About in general and then relates to the scenario or not. I hope this is clear. Second, which two, I've highlighted this already, which two of the following problems relating to zero-based budget would apply to the hotels? Which two? Come on, let's read first. Two questions. First, we look in terms of general statement, is this okay or not? And second, I will relate this with the scenario. First, managers may not have necessary skills. Okay, this could be a problem of zero-based budget. In that case, you need to train them. Okay, this is a general issue. Short-term benefits may be to the detriment of the long-term benefits. This is a problem of zero-based budget. Yes, you may emphasize on short-term at the expense of long-term. I have covered the drawbacks earlier, right? And problems are something that you can relate with the drawbacks, disadvantages. Zero-based budget is more time consuming than incremental budget. This is a fact. Yes, zero-based budget is more time consuming than incremental budget. Yeah, we know in general it is time consuming activity. Okay. Hotels may not be able to provide relevant information to managers. Okay. This is a general problem. If you're not able to provide relevant information to the managers, they can't construct their decision package, right? So now if you look at the statement in general terms, you would feel all the four statements are problem of zero-based budget, which is not the case. All four are not the problem of zero-based budget. According to the scenario I'm talking about, just think according to the scenario. So the first question is giving you the idea, okay, this is generally true, or this could be generally true, but the second question now comes, according to scenario base, is it applicable or not? So let's now think according to scenario. This is not a problem keeping in mind the scenario. Why? See. Why? See, each hotel manager is responsible for preparing the budgets. Online budget training is available. Online budget training is available, and the updated information system, and it is capable of providing extensive cost information for managers, and managers find new system easy to use. Wow. So according to scenario, they have the training options available, and for them it's easy to use. They get the information easily. The new system is capable to provide information easily. Considering this paragraph, it is very much evident that this problem doesn't exist in this scenario. Managers have the necessary skills. They are already pro to it. They have online training resource available. They have the skills. They are already making their budgets, as You can see in the scenario, it was written that they are already into making the budgets. See, each manager responsible for producing a budget. Simple. According to scenario, it's all great. Okay. Second, uh, zero-based budget, sorry, short-term benefits may be to the detriment of long-term benefits is a right statement in this case. Why? Why? See, why? Because they want cost reduction. See, they want cost reduction. Here I am, here, okay? They want cost reduction, and maybe because of this cost reduction issue, they may compromise on the long-term benefits. See, relating to the scenario, I made this correct. So yeah, this is a correct one, because keeping in mind the scenario, you can see that they want cost controlling and they may go for cost controlling using zero-based budget. As I said, it helps you to control the cost because you do a proper ranking, and this means that they can have an impact on long-term benefits. Great. Zero-based budget is more time consuming than incremental budgeting. Yeah, it's true, because as you can see here, that they are using incremental budgeting. So if they shift, it's time consuming if they shift. So this is scenario based. Last, hotels may not be able to provide relevant information to the manager is wrong, because they have updated system. They have updated information system, so they can get the information very easily. Understood the problem that you were doing in the past papers, past exams. This is what examiner was mentioning, that you are not covering the scenario when you're solving it. This is the problem that students are doing. So two questions: is the statement related to the technique, whatever it is given in general? And second, does it relate to the scenario? Okay. Now, I hope this is clear, the way I just came to the answer. Last 3 months into 20x3, hotel looks at the results and forecast of its hotels. Which of the following situation describe feed forward control? So what is feed forward control? Feed forward control means that uh, if we forecast something will be bad in the future, so we just take corrective actions beforehand. On the basis of our forecast, okay, on the basis of our forecast, we take the corrective action. But forecast is important. Okay, so for example, if I'm forecasting that I will not be able to pass in the paper today, so I take corrective actions and start studying so that I get pass in the paper. This is feed forward control. So the word forecast is important. Now, which statements is one that gives you idea about feed forward control? Fixed costs have deviated from the plan and must be brought back on the course. This is not feed forward control, because fixed costs have deviated from the plan, which means this is not a forecast. Your current fixed cost has deviated and you need to bring this to the plan. So this is not feed forward control. In fact, this is a negative feedback. It's a negative feedback, and you are covering that negative feedback. Okay. My statement was it should be based on forecast. You're perceiving things are not will not go good and you control it. That is feed forward control. Second, revenue and cost are going according to plan and no corrective action is necessary is a positive feedback. It's a feedback. It's not feed forward control, because thing is already going on and it is on track. Okay. So this is not the answer. Forecast profits are poor and control action is taken in advance is the answer, because it is meeting two things. Listen, for feed forward control, two things are important. First, forecast. Second, in advance, you will take the action. That's it. On the forecasted results, you are taking the action. So this is the answer. Okay. Last one, just to test your knowledge, you tell me where you classify the last one. Variable costs are more than budget and must be reduced as they are deviating from the plan. Okay, now what is this? Just to test your knowledge quickly. This is waiting for your answers. This is a negative feedback. Yeah, it's a negative feedback because again, variable costs are more than the budget. So this is the current situation. This is not a forecast thing. Okay. So it's a feedback, but a negative feedback that you need to reduce it. It is more right now. So this is a negative feedback. So I hope the four statements made clear what is negative feedback, what is positive, and what is feed forward. For feed forward, two things are important. Number one, it should be forecast, and based on that, you take corrective action in advance. I hope this is clear. I hope I've resolved the issue that I mentioned here, that people are not actively reading the scenario. So I've resolved this issue for sure, right? What do you think? Have I resolved this issue, guys? Plus, to solve in 18 minutes is important. So for that, the general suggestion is don't rush at this. Don't rush at this, and just uh, think that one question will take less time and the other will take more time. And like this, within 18 minutes, you have to handle the question. So friends, what's your feedback? Understood this? Okay. And did you really understood how to relate to the scenario? Section B, problem solved. Okay, the feedback is positive. That's good. Now let's move on to the next one. Now it's time for past paper, section C. Okay, be with me. Time for past paper, section C. Complete in 36 minutes. Why? Because it's a 20-mark requirement. Okay, multiply this with 1.8 minutes per mark, so 36 minutes you have. Now spend 36 minutes only and don't spend more than that. If you spend more than that, you're wasting your time on that. Okay, so just 36 minutes only. Perform calculations that are carefully structured. This is talking about spreadsheet. Okay, and clearly set out. So whatever working you do on a spreadsheet, remember that you have to perform clear calculations. You have to perform clear calculations, and it should be very clearly done calculations. Okay, with all workings shown in easy to follow layout. So workings are important for section C. Okay, because in spreadsheet the examiner look at your workings. Okay, the examiner will look at your working. Got it? Write accurately and coherently using simple English rather than long rambling sentences which have no structure, no real content. So yeah, this is a positive sign for you people. You'll be happy to listen this. Simple English, and this is what you know how to write, right? So you know only one thing, that is simple English, right? So I hope this is clear. And I hope you don't have any problem here in this one, because it's straightforward in this case, right? So simple English is what required. This is for theory. And for calculation, it says that are we supposed to do for calculation, friends? For calculations, we are supposed to show logical structure and proper workings. Okay. Now let's move on towards the basic budgeting technique. So types of budgets. Okay. Now, what is a fixed budget? Just a recap. Fixed budget is a one that focuses on single activity level. Okay. This is the first budget you prepare. And this is a budget that you prepare at a single activity level, which you do not change. Okay. Which you do not change. So it basically does what? It sets the direction for the organization. Okay, direction for the organization. Now, the purpose of this is to control fixed cost, because fixed cost is a cost that do not change with the units. Okay, it does not change with the units. So the purpose of this is to control fixed costs. Whatever fixed cost you have uh, found out in the fixed budget, or what you have fixed in the fixed budget, is a one that should not technically change, because fixed costs normally don't change with the number of units. Okay, so it's useful for controlling fixed cost. Now comes flexible budget. This is prepared at different activity levels and uh, including the actual activity. Okay, so you prepare flexible budget at different activity levels, which also includes the actual activity level. Okay, so it includes actual activity level, and whenever you prepare this at actual activity level, you call this as flexed budget. Okay, what you call this as? You call this as flexed budget, and the purpose of this is to compare like with like. So the purpose of this is like with like controlling. So flexible budget is prepared at number of activity levels, and when you prepare this at actual activity level, so the purpose is to ensure like with like controlling. Okay, like with like controlling, and that is known as flexed budget. Now listen quickly. If you are preparing a flexed budget as one that we will prepare, so there are certain $1 million techniques to remember whenever you're preparing a flex budget based on actual units. So yeah, the instruction is simple. You have to use actual units. Okay, you have to use actual units. Okay, you have to use actual units, whereas your selling price should be of fixed budget. Note it down, fixed budget, whereas your variable cost and fixed cost should also be of fixed budget. So just keep this in your mind. Whenever you are preparing a flexed budget, units should be actual. Okay, units should be actual, and selling price and variable cost and fixed cost should be of fixed budget. So the purpose of flexible budget is to ensure like with like comparison. Okay. Okay, guys, can you see what I'm saying here? Okay. So now flexible budget, which is prepared at number of activity levels, which also includes actual activity level. And if that is the case, then you need to use actual units. Selling price will be of fixed budget, variable cost, fixed cost, all will be of fixed budget. Okay. So having said that, let's move on towards the solution. I am starting a section C question, and let me tell you that this section C question I'm starting is not because I want to actually teach you the question, but also I want to tell you about the spreadsheet. Okay, the technique of a spreadsheet, how to structure the answer logically. So just follow everything. Okay, so let's begin with another past paper question. Okay, so let's now start with a question, and please be with me till the end, because you need to know the $1 million point as well. Sorry, the $1 million plan as well. And the purpose of this question is to basically give you the idea how to handle a question on a spreadsheet. Okay, so I need to cover up the spreadsheet skills. Those who are weak in that, they need to understand the skills. Plus, through this question, I will uh, actually explain you how spreadsheet will become your strength. Okay, how spreadsheet will become your strength. So let's begin now. Now it's a very good question. I'll share the $1,000,000 plan at the end. So just quickly understand the approach, what we need to do on a spreadsheet. For that, I have the examination based spreadsheet available. Okay. So remember, what are we supposed to do, friends? We are supposed to use selling price of fixed budget, and we will use variable cost and fixed cost also of fixed budget, and units will be actual. So let's start. First, a quick suggestion again to you people is you read the requirement quickly first to get the idea what is being tested, okay, in the paper. So I'm concerned about these 12 marks first here. Look at my marking scheme, look at the technique. I'll tell you how to grab easy marks. Okay, so learn the techniques more here. Prepare a flex budget, okay, for the month of May, assuming that standard mix of customers remains the same as budgeted. Okay, now if you have done this question before, so just listen. You need to learn the techniques, how to grab easy marks, the mindset, the psychological pressure. I want all you to listen the instruction that I'm giving you here. Now we need to prepare a flexed budget. Okay, if we need to prepare a flex budget, so what are we required to keep in our mind? Tablet, pen. Okay, so what are we required to keep in our mind? Number one, we need to keep in our mind that selling price will be of fixed budget. Okay, variable cost will also be of fixed budget. Okay, and fixed cost will also be of fixed budget. Okay, so all these three things will be of fixed budget, whereas the what you say, units will be of actual. Okay, let's read. Now, how to handle a question like this in the exam and the pressure. Noble is a restaurant that is only open in 6 evenings, okay? 6 days of the week. It has 8 restaurant and kitchen staff. 8 restaurant and kitchen staff, each paid a wage of $8 per hour on the basis of hours actually worked, okay? It also has a restaurant manager and a head chef, each of whom is paid a monthly salary of 4,300. Now, here my focus will be to teach you what to do in a paper. Question like this can come. Easy marks, how to grab maximum marks. Noble's budget and actual figures for the month of May were as follows. You have budget based on 1,200 meals, okay, and you have actual based on 1,560 meals. Now this is the actual units. You can take this as units, right? Okay. You have revenue for drink and food. You have variable costs. So normally remember, whatever structure the original question has, we follow the same structure in our answer, and the marking scheme is dependent on that. This is a new thing for you people. So follow the same structure, which means if you have a contribution here, if you have total variable cost shown here, so you have to follow the same structure because your marking scheme will be dependent on the same structure. Okay. Then it's the fixed cost and the profits. Now these are the assumptions on which the budget is based. Budget assumptions. Okay, so let's read the assumptions one by one as we solve, right? So the first assumption is the restaurant is only open 6 days and there are 4 weeks in a month. So 6 days into 4 weeks, and that makes 6 fours are 24. Okay, so it's 24 days, right? The average number of orders each day is 50. So average order each day is 50, and demand is evenly spread across all the days in the month. Okay, right? So this is the first assumption on which the budget is prepared. Second, the restaurant offers 2 meals. Meal A which costs 35 per meal. All these things you can highlight in a CBE paper, right? And meal B, which costs 45 per meal. Getting the point, everyone? Okay. In addition to this, irrespective of which meal the customer orders, the average customer consumes 4 drinks. Wow. Is it a customer or some kind of a, I would say, animal? Okay. So average customer consumes 4 drinks and each costs 2.5. So 4 drinks into 2.5 means drink cost is $10, right? Okay. So 35 is the basic meal cost for A and B is 45. So you add $10 of drink into this. So it makes, therefore, average spend per customer is either 45 or 55, including drinks. Okay. The May budget is based on 50% of the customers ordering meal A and 50% of the customers ordering meal B. So your budget is based on a mix of 50-50%, which means 50% customers are ordering meal A and 50% are ordering meal B. Okay. So this is what was written in the question. See, it was saying that the standard mix of customer remains same as budgeted, which means when you prepare the flex budget, you also have to keep this in your mind that 50% of the customers will go for meal A and 50% will go for meal B. So this is something you also have to keep in your mind when you're making your flex budget. This assumption you need to keep in your mind. Okay, this is mentioned here. Now, listen, in an examination, right, you will read the scenario. So I'm doing the same thing. Food represents 12.5% of the revenue from food sales. Drink cost represents 20% revenue from drink sales. Got it? Statement 5. When the number of orders per day does not exceed 50, okay, each member of the hourly paid staff is required to work exactly 6 hours a day. Okay. For every incremental increase of 5, okay, for every incremental additional, it means, right, increase of 5 in the average number of orders per day, each, normally we ignore the word each, here it is also written each. Okay, each member of the staff has to work 0.5 hours of overtime, for which they are paid at an increased rate of 12 per hour. Okay, this is some overtime situation here in the paper, right? You should assume that all costs for hourly paid staff are treated wholly as variable. So it's a pure variable cost, but the only problem here is of overtime. Okay, it's a pure variable cost, but the problem is of overtime. Now, energy costs are deemed to be related to the total number of hours worked, okay, by each of the hourly paid staff and are absorbed at a rate of 2.94 per hour worked by each of the 8 staff. Okay, so basically this 2.94 is your OAR. It's the absorption rate given to you per hour basis, and you will multiply with the number of hours. Got it? Now, to be honest, if I'm in the examination, let's create a scenario of examination. Be with me, everyone. Listen what I'm doing. I found this statement 5 bit difficult because a lot of information here, and 5, 6 is dependent on 5. Why? Because until and unless you don't get the hours worked of the staff, you can't move towards 6. So you need to have the staff hours, because 5 statement relates to staff. So until and unless I don't have 5, I can move towards 6. So which means I'm getting pressurized in the paper, and I thought, oh, so difficult, I can't understand the statement. Relax, chill. Remember is one mind. So see what I'm doing here. See, learn the technique. You'll be shocked to listen. I'll go to my spreadsheet and I have to prepare a budget. So I'll write here logical presentation. Okay, I'll write here flexed budget. Okay. Now I know the rule of flex budget, and the rule that Rizwan Mania told you is units should be actual, whereas selling price, variable cost, and fixed cost should be of fixed budget. Okay, so I need actual units. So I need to find out the actual meals. Okay, so how many meals are there? So in the question, if I go, I will find the meals actual 1560. Okay. So I know the meals now. Listen, it's a 12-mark requirement. Okay. And see how I'll grab the marks. Easy marks. Okay. Now I'll start with the same structure that is given here. Revenue is what I need to start first. So revenue, food, drink. Okay. I'll just follow the same structure. Then variable cost. You can do this in the paper. You can do this in the paper. This is total revenue. Just follow the same structure. Then variable cost. Just write it down, the variable cost. Showing you the presentation and how you have to handle staff cost. You will love this technique. Then what it is? Food cost. Then it's drink cost. Okay. And then it was energy. Just understand the easy mark technique. Okay. Now, they have also shown here the total of variable cost. Right? So I'll do the same. Easy, easy, man, easy. Paper is not difficult. We need to prepare ourselves. Then we have contribution. So we'll show contribution. I'll tell you later on why I'm doing this. Then you have fixed cost. So fixed cost relates to two, the manager and the rent. Okay, and then your profit. Okay, so this is the structure. Now, I can use one column to show the reference for my workings, and I'll prepare a working area, maybe this side or below, and I'll show the workings there with references. Examiner says, whatever I'm telling you is what examiner is speaking. Right now, just imagine examiner is speaking with you people, right? Sorry, this should come here. Okay. So here the amounts. Okay, now let's begin. Food. Food. So what is the logic? The logic is simple. The logic is very simple. Selling price should be of fixed budget, whereas units should be of actual. Okay. So I'll follow the instruction given here, and the instruction is standard mix of customers will not change, which means if I'm using 1560 meals, 50% of this, okay, 50% of this will go for meal A. Are you getting my point? 50% of this will go for meal A, okay, and 50% of this will go for meal B. So 50% makes 780, right? 780. 780 for meal A, 780 for meal B, because it was written in the question. Now, units of actual, right? So food. So food selling price is 35. This is the fixed budget selling price, right? Because this is all budgeted information. 35 for meal A and 45 for meal B. That's it. Fixed budget selling price, whereas actual units. And the proportion is 50-50 because the assumption was given there. Okay. So you can do calculation in one cell. So let's do it. Is equals to bracket open 780 multiplied by 35 bracket close plus bracket open 780 multiplied by 45 bracket close. Simple. Easiest way to work out. Easiest way to work. 1560 divided by 2, 50%, right? Units actual, whereas selling price was given to me 35 and 45 for meal A and B respectively. Okay, and it's 62,400. See, the working is in front of you. So simple. Okay, now imagine how many marks will you get here? 1 mark. Let's count. We need 12, right? Easy marks. Let's grab easy marks. So 1 mark. Okay. Drink revenue. Psychologically, you get tense in the paper. This is the bad thing. Don't get tense. Remember, there are easy marks available every time. Every time. Okay. Now, second, drinks. Obviously, drink. There are no categories for drink. Okay. So whether you go for meal A, whether you go for meal B, both will take 4 drinks each meal, right? So 1560 are the total number of meals. Here I don't have to bifurcate into meal A and B just because there are no categories for drinks. The drink price is $10 for each meal, 2.5 per drink and 4 drinks, right? So I'll highlight this and it's $10, right? So it's simple. 1560 multiplied by 10. How many marks? 1 mark. 2 marks done. Clear with the calculation part? Be with me. Before I get into the difficult area, I will ensure that I pass. This is what I need to teach you people here. This is the technique what I need to teach you people here. Okay. So 1560, 1 mark. Now, the question did showed the total revenue. So you have to do the same thing. Okay. Let's add is equals to sum bracket open. That's it. So should you get marks for this? Should you deserve marks for this? Should you deserve marks for this? Tell me yes or no. You do, because you have followed the exam format. Wow. You have followed the exam format. You have followed the exam format. Okay. Now I see one question here. Why didn't you take 4 drinks? Hello, I did take 4 drinks. Please just concentrate. See, let me show you the breakup. 1560 into 4 drinks into 2.5 each. Okay, it's the same thing. 4 drinks per meal at the rate 2.5 is the price. So that again comes to 50,600. Right? This is what I did. I directly use the figure 10. If you don't want that, so it's 2.5 into 4 into 1560. So how many marks you got from 12 up till now? Come on, everybody, are you with me? How many marks you got up till now? Come on, tell me. It's 3 marks. I haven't touched the difficult area yet. I know the concept. What is the concept? The concept is selling price should be a fixed budget. And you can see here, selling price is of fixed budget. See, this is the selling price, 2.5, 35 per meal, 45 per meal. Okay. And units were of actual. So where are the actual units? 1560. Simple. Okay. Now let's move on. Variable costs, staff costs. Oh, I'm afraid of staff costs. I'm afraid of staff costs because so much was written. Let's leave in the paper. Let's not waste time on this staff cost. Examiner is saying that you leave it if it is difficult. Now, who you and I will be in that case? Examiner is saying don't invest too much time on those things that are difficult. Grab easy marks. So, sir, where are easy marks? Let's find. Food cost. Food cost. Okay. Easy. Food cost. 12.5% of revenue from food sales. 20% of drink costs from drink sales. Okay. Simple. Let's do it. Is equals to food revenue into 0.125, that is 12.5. Revenue into 12.5, and make sure you use a negative sign because this is a cost. So just input minus sign before this. minus sign before this. Okay, 7,800. So how many marks? Just guess. Come on. How many marks? Let's see where you can reach. How many marks? Come on, guys. Where are you? 1 mark. That's perfectly right. That's perfectly right. Okay. 1 mark. Food minus sign went to the revenue of drink into how much percent was that? 20%. 20%. Okay. 3120. 1 mark. So how many marks up till now? Let me just make this red so that you are able to see how many marks up till now. 5 marks out of 12. I haven't touched the difficult part. And I'll give you examiner feedback on that as well. I haven't touched the difficult part and 5 marks. Simple. Okay. I know staff cost is dependent on energy cost. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Energy cost is dependent on staff cost. Okay. Okay. Let's find easy marks more. Fixed cost. Fixed cost. According to the rules, selling price, variable cost per unit, selling price per unit, and total fixed cost should be of fixed budget. I did mention that, right? So where is the fixed cost? Which fixed cost should I use? Budget or actual? So the answer is budget. Okay, budget. Okay, right? Budget 8,600, 4,500. Write in negative, okay? Now, should you get marks for this? 8,600 and 4,500? Any marks you deserve? Come on, what's your mindset? Tell me. Yes or no? Any marks? Okay. How much? How much? How much? How much marks you want? How much marks? 2 marks. Let's do one thing. Take 100 marks, okay? Okay. So it's 0.5 marks, 0.5 marks, 0.5 marks, and you, come on, how many marks altogether now? How many marks altogether? 6 marks and you are done. 6 marks and you are done. Can you imagine? 12, you got 6. And easy marks, all are easy marks. Logical structure, following the exam structure, easy marks. 6 marks done. PM paper is not difficult. You need to work hard to come to the PM level. And in this webinar, inshallah, I'll try my best that for you, PM becomes an easiest paper. Understood? Now, let's create further scenario. Listen, I haven't read staff cost up till yet. Listen to me. For example, I did work out staff cost and that was a wrong staff cost because I was confused. I don't know what to do. I did tried. My answer went wrong. Second, I'm short of time and I can't find out the right answer. So I did wrote a guessed figure, maybe 20, maybe something like this, guess figure, for example. Listen what I'm saying. Maybe a guess figure like this. Okay, I don't know the answer. Or I tried and I got the wrong answer. And because staff cost was wrong, so my energy cost will also be wrong. Energy cost will also be wrong. I'm just writing deliberately here. This is a wrong figure and this is also a wrong figure. Okay, so what happens? Already I got 6. Let's see what happens. Be with me. is equals to I'll add all these to show the variable cost total. Okay. And the variable cost total for me here will be how much? Okay. This is a variable cost total I'm getting here, right? Now, because my energy staff cost and my energy cost both were wrong, so total variable cost will be wrong, obviously. So what examiner will see? Examiner will look at the calculation done, and examiner will give you marks for this right working, because there is own figure rule. What is own figure rule? Any mistake you did in one part, the deduction will be done only in that part, and the next part will not be affected. Own figure rule. Own figure rule. So can't you imagine 1 mark for this one? Wrong working done in staff, wrong energy cost worked out, wrong variable cost technically, but you will get marks for that. See, so easy. It's the mindset that is making things difficult. Understood? Okay. Food figure. Okay, this is the calculation of food figure. Revenue into 12.5% food cost. Okay. And drink cost as well. Revenue into 20% is drink cost. Okay. Now done. Let's work out contribution. Contribution. Okay. So how to work out contribution, guys? Revenue minus variable cost, right? Is this a contribution? Yes, this is the contribution. Revenue minus variable cost. Wrong contribution, but 1 mark. Who says PM is difficult? Who says PM is difficult? Wrong calculation of contribution, but 1 mark, because you were penalized at staff cost. Now, how much penalization will be? 1.5 mark will be deducted here, and same 1.5 mark will be deducted here. Once 1.5 have been deducted above, no deduction will be later on. Understood? Is this making sense? Okay, done. Fixed cost, profit. Let's work out profit. Let's work out profit. So sum bracket open. A wrong profit figure technically, right? But for this you will get 1 mark. Now just imagine and calculate the total marks, the red ones. Come on, the red ones. Just add up the red ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 marks out of 11, sorry, 12. 9 marks out of 12. 9 marks. I'm telling you the marking scheme. 9 marks out of 12 your examiner will give you in this part. And what we do in paper, we get panic. We say, what we think? We say, okay, if I'm not able to work out this figure, I will not pass. I'm not able to work out this figure, I'm not pass. I didn't understood these two figures, so I'll not pass. That is a wrong mindset. And because of that, what you do? You spoil the remaining paper. You spoil the remaining paper. Because of the negativity that comes in your mind, you spoil the remaining paper, you get tensed, and you say, okay, I can't do anything else now. Wrong. It's wrong. Remember, there are difficult things in OTs as well. Leave difficult OTs and move on to the easy ones. Same for section C. Leave difficult calculations and move on to the next ones. But yes, in spreadsheet, you can't use calculator. You have to input the figures as I did in the cells. Everything needs to be done in the cells. Okay. So if you just imagine, if you left these two workings in the paper, your face would be like this. Very bad paper, very difficult question. But you didn't know you got 9 marks because you did the entire working. Got it? Understood? Hello, everyone. Are you with me? Is it something new for you people? Did you understood the technique? For manager and chef, I did mention 0.5 marks. You will pick from the fixed budget. Okay? You will pick this from the fixed budget. So this is the marking scheme for you people. Now I haven't done the workings of these. Just a guess figure you can input and move on. If you are short of time or if you have done wrong workings, you can move on. You can't waste time on this. Got it? Agreed? Now, the task that I'm giving you today is to work out the two numbers and then we'll share the final right answer. So you have to read these paragraphs because we are end today. The time is ended. So by reading these two, you are able to find out the answer. So this is a small task I'm giving you today to find out the right answers, and I will then tell you the right answer tomorrow of these two calculations. But the point I was making here is that if you have done these wrong as well, you will get 9 out of 12. Man, that's too much. That's too much, to be honest. Okay, so technique is important. 9 divided by 12 makes 75% you got in this question. For section C, you don't have to use calculators. The task is clear. Just work out these. Now, I am moving towards the section of theory. I'll just hold this today. We'll cover up this theory aspect. Will make you very skillful in theory like this. You can see the picture, but that will be done tomorrow. Now it's time for the $1 million plan, which is in front of you. Friends, this is a $1 million plan. I have shared. I'll share the slide today. I'll share the slide tonight. The links are given. Now you start preparing yourself. If you want to prepare in these 5 days completely, do you want to prepare in these 5 days? Come on, tell me. Do you want to prepare in 5 days? Yes, you want to, right? So watch the webinars that are currently going on and just start watching these videos. Now, for budgets, just watch these videos from my previous webinars. I'll share the PDF on the respective WhatsApp groups. If you're not part of the group, just send me a quick WhatsApp message. I'll add you there. Okay. And start watching the videos. You have time in the morning, maybe at night before or after this webinar, daily basis. Just watch the videos, zero-based budgets, rolling budget, incremental, and types of other theory. So watch these webinars that will give you a solid understanding about budgets. Okay, so this is the today's plan. Previous webinar links do cover the videos along with the today's webinar, and like this you are able to complete section by section in these 5 days, and you will pass in March 2021 inshallah. Okay, so this is the $1 million plan that I'll share on the WhatsApp group. Please send me the message. And before I end, a quick question and answer for 2 minutes as I promised, and then we'll say goodbye. So yeah, please, question and answer session going on. Just send me the WhatsApp message if you are not part of the group. Now, what question you need to ask for today? The general ones. Any general questions? Okay, I'll add you in the group. I'll share the files on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Anything else? So what about reading chapters? I'll share the index of the book and will mark you the chapters to read. Okay, Karthik says start from section C or A. It depends on your confidence, the area in which you are good at, start from that first. Inflation was required on cost. I'll share the video links through the slide that I'll share on WhatsApp group. No, you have to cover all the things for PM because section A OTs can come from anywhere. Akif Shah, just WhatsApp me on my number. I have shared the number. It is written below, and I'll then send you the link. Okay? Yeah. Fixed cost should not change with the activity level. This is the concept. If the fixed cost changes compared to this budget, so that is where we get to know whether it's less or more. If it is more, we need to take the control action. Farhan Ali, 49 usually means you are very near, you will do it, but some silly mistakes like these that I've highlighted today, like not relating to the section B OTs is the reason. Surya, I'm not covering single loop and double loop right now. Okay. How to, I can't read the question, Imran. I'm sorry. Okay, reading and planning time, 36 minutes is the time for section C one question, 18 minutes for section B one question, and 3.6 minutes for section A one OT question. Okay. Special tips is just follow my plan for 2 weeks. Okay, Hafiz Mubashir. I can't send you through email. Sorry, I'll send you through the WhatsApp. I hope section B helped you. Guys, thank you very much for today's session. A quick word of feedback before I leave. You have to give feedback to the ACCA Pakistan right after the session. They will share a feedback form with you people. My small request to all of you is please do share the feedback there about today's session, how it helped you to gain your confidence, the examination techniques were covered or not. I did focus on weak areas. I did focus on the confidence booster or not. So please do give your feedback to ACCA Pakistan right after the session right now gets end. You will get a feedback form. A quick feedback can you give me today, right now, in few seconds? How was the today's session? Did you love the session, the way I covered the things, techniques, the mindset? So how will you rate the today's session, guys? Was it productive, useful, good? Yeah, please. I'm really interested in looking at the feedbacks. So I hope that today's session really helped you people, right? Okay, so please do share the feedback right after the session. The feedback form will be given to you. It's my small request to all of you. Thank you very much. Want to see you tomorrow on time, day 2. Until then, take care. Rizwan Mania signing off.